in general, Finland and its whole educational model is very well regarded. And you're talking about already implementing those well-being factors within the curriculum, which is fantastic and absolutely amazing. But we were discussing that last week with Marcela Betancourt from the Gimnasio Moderno in Bogota, and she was sharing from a K-12 perspective her opinion on what is required, for example, from some other governments, which are also looking into implementing that in education, but which is still not very well done. So my question would be how, what would be your suggestion for newcomers, basically, who are just starting to look at, okay, what's the starting point I need for my school if my government is not doing it, but if my government is doing it, how can I actually start implementing well-being, either it's a mentality or actually integrating it in the curriculum within the institution?
That's a great question, and the way we see that in Finland in general also is that it starts with the community, and with the community I mean at least two things. First of all, let's start with the wider community. So it is an issue. It is a theme. It is let's say it is a task of the wider community, and that here I'm referring, let's say, especially to the parents. So if we're talking about a school setting, if we go back to the K-12, and then the issue you need to take into account is the community, is the parents of the kids. How are they involved? And how can you involve them in talking about your school environment, your curriculum, what is happening there, and how do you establish a good and constructive communication with them? But then the second community, where it's within, that's your whole school staff. So the teacher, especially of course the teachers, and if you have a community, school community, where you have other professionals as well, like I know many countries have. You have school nurses or even doctors. You have counselors, psychologists, whoever your school community is. How do you involve them also in that constructive discussion of what is our ethos? What is our mission? What is it that we do? And how do we do it together? And I mean, I'll give you just a simple example of my school, the School of Professional Teacher Education here at the Old University of Applied Sciences. We design and redesign and replan and evaluate and assess our curriculum annually with the whole staff, with all of the teachers. And it is, and I believe, and I can tell you, it is not a let's say a meeting where people come reluctantly and say like, oh yeah, okay, it's the curriculum meeting again, whatever. No, it's an ongoing process. We meet several times per year. People are divided into smaller groups with smaller tasks. We're analyzing the curriculum. We're talking to the companies, to employers. Of course, we train vocational teachers, so we've got that link is very important for us as well. And you have the whole community transforming gradually the curriculum, changing and developing things in an ongoing process gradually. And this is something I really want to stress, that create a culture of ongoing betterment, an ongoing development of the things that are important for you. Don't make it like meetings and committees, but involve everybody. You know, dismantle the hierarchy that development should not have a hierarchy, especially not in a school. Very often a relatively small community, after all, it does not necessarily benefit from strict hierarchical structure when it comes to developing the day-to-day things that we do. It might need the hierarchy for other things. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But for certain kind of development, bring everybody together at an even footing and let them bring it together, because teachers are, and that's what I've noticed, for instance, in Colombia, they are so passionate about their work. And I'm sometimes so sad when I see that passion is not used. I mean, the employer could totally let that passion flourish and bring out unbelievable results if they're allowed to work together, to develop their school culture and community together. That would be the first thing I think, to think about the community and how to create a culture of constant, gradual development.
This is brilliant and extremely inspiring, Kimmo. Thank you so much for your comments.
Thank you so much for making your time as well tonight. I mean, it's been a pleasure to talk, and I hope we can do this again. I wouldn't want to impose upon you, but I feel like you know, it would be great to chat again at some point if you were willing. Well,
I mean, Mark and Alejandra, you're both passionate about these things, just like me, you know. And if you're involved in education, and then if you're especially involved in teacher education, as you know, I mean, we could talk for hours, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kimmo. Really, I think this is fantastic and very original, very open, and I really like the way we've done this today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me. I was absolutely, this was really, really nice. And one thing also that I find important is to talk about these things with people from other countries, other cultures, other contexts. You know, whenever and for me, let's put it this way, whenever I open my mouth, I am also at the same time like learning and testing. I'm also testing my thoughts and my ideas, and does it make, do people respond, you know, and how does it work? So that's the thing about discussion, and I love the way you ask, and you go deeper in a way. You pick a certain strand and let's explore that avenue. That's a learning experience. So thank you very much.
Now, we're very happy you've enjoyed it, and what we truly want is to start those conversations that in some extent are maybe a taboo, or as we were speaking before, they are considered as, oh, you're touching on vulnerability, we shouldn't be speaking around this or that. And actually, if we don't, then what is our purpose? Why are we doing this? You were talking about passion. Yes, the passion is there, but if we're only using the passion to survive rather than to make this education industry thrive, then what's the point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But and what I also noticed that it is the teachers themselves. Like when we had the course with last autumn with SENA, for instance, in Bogota, which SENA is responsible for the vocational training, and the teachers themselves, because we had in the group, we had teachers from all over Colombia working in SENA's regional institutions. They were very, very happy to talk about those difficult things as well. We didn't just talk about, you know, digital pedagogy and stuff like that. No way. We really talked about, exactly like you said, Alejandra, about vulnerability, about certain frustrations, challenges that teachers really face in their everyday life. And alone the fact that you can share them with other colleagues, that alone helps you to get ideas and find ways. It's not just letting off steam. It's not just that, but it's actually channeling that steam into a good, productive machine, if you like.
Yeah.
Fully agreed.
Yeah, I worked with last month with a big group of teachers from the Ukraine, from SSU in the Ukraine, 40 of them, and none of them were actual teachers. You know, it was the typical, oh, you have a PhD, so in the classroom and good luck, see you later. And of course, the interesting thing about working with groups like that is they make no claim to be teachers. So there isn't that sense of kind of pride of I should be able to do this or that. They come in at a point of vulnerability, and they're there because they need help. So they're open about it. They're open about the fact that their hands are shaking, that they have the slides for just security, but they're desperate to learn and to develop and to do a good job, you know, which is it's a great environment. You couldn't wish to work with better people, you know.
I know that's a great example. It's really funny that I did my first Erasmus teaching exchange just before Christmas. It was of course virtual teacher exchange to Kazakhstan in Almaty, and there was an arts academy, and the teachers were teachers there were two groups. One group was teachers of English as a foreign language, and the other one was simply the art academy teachers who have to teach in English, who have to teach their subject in English, like, you know, film studies and directing and whatnot. So it was them, and then teachers of English as a foreign language who also work in the same academy, and they teach both those teachers who are supposed to teach in English and students. And you described very similar situation that I also had. Extremely rewarding, absolutely lovely, and I hope I can do that again. It was really fascinating.
Yeah, it's the best because they go into the class the next day and they just implement it. You don't get the resistance. You know, you work with teachers and they're like, oh, I don't think that'll work, and I don't know about that, and you know. But you work with these group and they're like, brilliant, that's great, I'm going to do it tomorrow.
Exactly. It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah. Well, Kimmo, don't want to keep you any longer, but thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. It really has.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
I can
much.
only say the same here, Kimmo. Thank you so much for being here today.